Some memories from the past seem to haunt us like indelible traces that never disappear, no matter how hard we try to forget them. Over time, some pains remain and even seem to intensify. But what if, instead of running away from these memories, we could turn them into something valuable in our story? Since childhood, we were taught that life should be linear and flawless, without mistakes. We were told to hide our flaws, erase difficult moments, and move on as if nothing had happened. In the modern world, everything broken is thrown away, whether it's an object, a plan, or even a person. But what to do when life inevitably challenges us and breaks us into pieces? Perhaps it's an unexpected failure, an irreparable loss, or disappointment that left deep marks. Our first reaction is always the same: to forget, erase the traces, and pretend nothing happened. However, these pains do not disappear simply because we wish them to. They disguise themselves, remaining silent and waiting for the right moment to return. Unconsciously, we start carrying an invisible weight, denying entire parts of our own story. But what if there was another way? In Japan, there is a philosophy that can completely change our perception of the past, a tradition that not only accepts imperfections, but transforms them into something beautiful and powerful. This art teaches that every scar, every crack, every moment of pain can become a golden pattern on our path. Imagine a vase of delicate, almost fragile porcelain that slips from your hands and falls to the floor. In the West, the reaction would be devastating. Obviously, it would be discarded, as anything broken loses its value. But in Japan, there is an art that views this scene entirely differently, not as an end, but as a new beginning. This art is called kintsugi, the technique of restoring broken objects using lacquer mixed with gold. And here's the most interesting part. Instead of hiding the damage, kintsugi makes it the object's most valuable feature. Every crack, every scar is highlighted, becoming the most beautiful feature of the object's new identity. The technique known as kintsugi emerged in the 15th century when Ashikaga Yoshimasa broke his favorite tea bowl. He sent it for repair, hoping it would be restored to its former glory. But to his disappointment, the bowl returned, held together by crude metal staples. Functional, but unattractive. This led to the birth of kintsugi, a more elegant way of restoration. But kintsugi goes beyond merely repairing ceramics. It is a life philosophy closely linked to the concept of wabi-sabi, a deep idea that there is beauty in imperfection, the passage of time, and authenticity. In the West, we often spend our lives striving for perfection, believing we are only worthy of admiration when we hide our flaws. In Japan, the view is different. The marks we carry are part of our story, and denying them is like denying ourselves. Since childhood, we are taught to hide our imperfections, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. We create edited versions of ourselves as if life were a social media profile where we only show the best. But let's be honest, no one goes through life without cracks. And what if, instead of trying to erase them, we highlighted them? Think for a moment. If you could apply kintsugi to your own life, what cracks would you turn into gold? When we break an object, we know it can be fixed. But what if we are the ones who break? When our own mind shatters from invisible pains? How to repair what cannot be seen? Yet what if trauma had a physical form, silently and destructively infiltrating the mind and body without permission? Trauma changes how we perceive the world, shaping our thoughts and feelings. Contrary to what many believe, it is not just a painful memory of the past. It is something that shapes the present and guides us, often unnoticed. As psychiatrist Bessel van der Kolk explains in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, Trauma does not just disappear over time, it takes root and manifests in various ways that are not always easy to recognize. It may appear as groundless anxiety, an irrational fear of situations we don't even understand, or a constant sense of being disconnected from our own life, as if watching from the outside. In our culture, the advice is often to get over it, forget the past, and move on, as if scars could be erased by sheer willpower. But does this philosophy work? Kintsugi offers a completely different path. Instead of denying the cracks, this practice teaches us to acknowledge them and transform them into something valuable. Modern science confirms this approach makes sense. Van der Kolk says that when we stop running and finally face our pain with compassion, we are freed. Hiding our feelings traps us in inner conflict. Hiding pain consumes energy and prevents us from fully living. He encourages us to do the same with our inner wounds, but only if we have the courage to look at them. Think for a moment. Is there something in your life you've been avoiding? An uncomfortable memory, a past mistake, or something you've buried but keeps resurfacing? Kintsugi does not ask us to pretend everything is fine. On the contrary, it teaches us that our story, with all its flaws, cracks, and traces, is exactly what makes us unique. What if, instead of hiding your scars, you highlighted them in gold? Life teaches us that we cannot go back. Leaving the past behind will not undo losses, mistakes, or pains already endured. However, there is a fundamental difference between reliving the past and accepting it. Most of us try to erase painful parts of our story, ignoring unpleasant feelings. When something brings us back to old pain, we turn away. We believe that accepting pain means being stuck in it, but the opposite is true. Acceptance is the only real path to freedom. This is precisely what Kintsugi teaches us. This ancient Japanese technique does not seek to hide the cracks, but embraces and accentuates them, making the object even more valuable. A piece of broken pottery becomes more precious when its cracks are filled with gold. We too can become stronger when we stop denying our scars and learn to give them new meaning. How does this apply in real life? First, we need to see our scars as part of our identity. In Japan, a vase repaired with kintsugi becomes unique and irreplaceable. Its golden cracks tell a story of resilience and overcoming. What if we looked at our own scars the same way? Instead of hiding them, we could see them as proof of our strength. The pain we endured shapes us, making us stronger. But the first step to this transformation is to stop resisting. As Carl Jung said, what you resist persists. The more we try to suppress a feeling, the stronger it becomes within us. Acceptance does not mean approval of what happened. It simply acknowledges that the past cannot be changed. Only our attitude toward it can. Kintsugi does not try to hide cracks, but rather accepts and highlights them, bringing a conscious lesson. Many of the most inspiring people have gone through serious challenges. Some write books, some help those who have gone through similar experiences, and some simply choose to live with lightness and gratitude, knowing what suffering is. Pain can destroy, but can also be a gateway to something greater. Now think, if your pain could become something beautiful in Kintsugi, what would you do with it? The healing process does not follow a linear path. There will be days when everything seems fine, and others when the same pains return. But each small step matters. What hurts you does not define you. How you transform it does. True strength is not in never breaking, but in rising again and again. So, what cracks in your story can you turn into gold? If you've made it this far, thank you for accompanying me on this reflection. I know looking at your past isn't always easy, Sometimes it's painful, sometimes scary, but if this message helped you see your story differently, it was worth it. Now tell me, if you could apply kintsugi to a moment in your life, what would it be? If you enjoyed this content and want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, and leave a comment down below. Your support means a lot to me and gives me the motivation to keep creating content like this for you.